Can a doping scandal derail the career of a world number one? Jannik Sinner, the young Italian tennis prodigy, has gone through one of the most intense and controversial chapters of his professional life following an unexpected doping suspension. His return, filled with emotion, direct messages, and outstanding physical form, has left everyone talking. After 3 months of absence, Sinner reappears with a powerful message and many questions in the air. Was the sanction fair? Were there hidden favors? Is he truly ready to dominate the courts again? Join us as we uncover the full story. At just 23 years old, Jannik Sinner has not only reached the top of the tennis world, but also had to deal with a situation that would challenge any athlete, a doping suspension. It all began in March 2023, when a substance called clostebol, a banned anabolic steroid, was detected in his body. Despite his rapid success on the circuit, the news shocked everyone. The International Tennis Integrity Agency, ITIA, initially cleared him, but his case was later reviewed by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which reduced his punishment to just 3 months. During this time, Sinner almost completely disappeared from the public eye. He was barely seen and declined interviews, aiming to focus on his emotional and physical recovery. However, in a recent television appearance, the Italian revealed that he even considered quitting tennis before the Australian Open. These words struck his followers and showed the weight he was carrying on his shoulders. Nonetheless, despite that moment of doubt, he came back stronger, winning in Australia. One of the biggest controversies was the suspicion that his suspension may have been planned not to interfere with major tournaments. In Sinner's words, "I'm glad no Grand Slam was within these 3 months," a phrase suggesting that there were no secret maneuvers to protect him. With this, he made it clear that his priority was to clear his name, no matter the consequences. He initially refused to strike a deal with the World Anti-Doping Agency, firmly believing in his innocence. Now officially cleared to train again since April 13, Sinner chose to do so on the courts of the Monte Carlo Country Club. Away from media noise, he focused on regaining his best physical and mental shape. The comeback was not just physical but symbolic too, a message to his supporters and detractors that he does not give up easily. From the start, his intention was clear: to prove something to himself, not to anyone else. In recent statements, he assured that he feels calm and ready to compete. Although he admitted to receiving unexpected messages from some fellow players and silence from others, he took it naturally. He understands that in the world of sports, everyone shows support in their own way, and he holds no grudges. This maturity has also been key to his recovery process, showing that he's not just a great player but a person with resolve and character. Now, his focus is set on Roland Garros. He knows it will be a tough challenge, but also a chance to show he's back. The goal is Paris, he said with determination. Although he claims that his immediate goal is not to win, his mere presence in the tournament is already a strong statement. With renewed energy and focus, everything suggests that Sinner is back stronger than ever. His performance in Australia after the scandal was not only a triumphant return but also helped reinforce the public's confidence in his integrity. Sinner made it clear that his performance was not based on substances, but on effort, talent, and passion for the game. The fact that he won the Australian Open right after his break gave solid arguments to those who always believed in his innocence. That victory was more than a trophy, it was a public vindication. In his interview with Italian television channel Rai, Sinner was especially honest. He revealed that the psychological weight of the accusations was so heavy that he thought about leaving tennis. But instead of giving up, he decided to move forward. What could have been the end of a brilliant career turned into a turning point. Calmly, he confessed that the most beautiful thing for him would be to return to the court without fear and with the desire to see what level he's really at. Clostebol, the substance detected in his body, is known for being easily transmitted through creams and dermatological products. This type of situation has caused controversy in other sports as well. With no conclusive evidence of doping intent, his case sparked debates about how innocence or guilt is judged in professional sports. The reduction of the sanction to 3 months by the CAS was interpreted by many as a gesture acknowledging his good faith. The training sessions in Monte Carlo were key to his preparation. Far from the cameras, without media pressure, Sinner was able to focus on rebuilding his game step by step. His close circle also played a fundamental role in keeping him motivated. This quiet but steady process allowed him to arrive at the Rome Masters in optimal condition, something now confirmed by his performance in the tournament's early days. Sinner has made it clear that beyond tennis, this experience has taught him valuable lessons about patience, perseverance, and the importance of staying true to oneself. His words and attitude upon returning have been interpreted as a powerful message not only to the tennis world but to sports in general. You can fall, but you can also come back with dignity. The way he has handled this episode is being applauded even by those who weren't fans before. Finally, his return has sparked a wave of support among Italian fans, who will welcome him with open arms in Rome. This city will be the stage for a key chapter in his story. It's not just another tournament, it's where Jannik Sinner aims to show that the suspension was not the end, but the beginning of a new beginning. His story, with lights and shadows, is now one of the most impactful in modern tennis. Can silence hurt more than a suspension? Jannik Sinner, one of the brightest stars in tennis today, has revealed something that goes beyond sports: the emotional isolation he experienced after his doping suspension. His words have shaken the tennis community and put a harsh truth on the table about the human side of elite athletes. What seemed to be just a routine press conference before the Italian Open turned into a raw confession about loneliness and betrayal within the professional circuit. What exactly did Sinner say? Why have his words caused such a stir? Let's find out. During his statement, Sinner shared that in the most difficult moments, he received messages of support from players he didn't expect, while others, whom he considered close, chose to remain silent. This revelation had a big impact among journalists and fans. Although he avoided naming names, his words sparked a wave of speculation and hinted that relationships within professional tennis can be far more fragile than they appear from the outside. Despite training and relaxing moments with Jack Draper and Lorenzo Sonego in Monte Carlo, the Italian admitted that this did not compensate for the emotional emptiness he felt. The camaraderie often shown in front of the cameras can fade when problems arise. This contrast between public and private was one of the most sensitive points of his speech, which made it clear that player support is not always as strong as it seems. Sinner's words have sparked a deep debate about the true nature of camaraderie in tennis. Is it real or just a facade? Is there an authentic support network among elite players, or is each one fighting for themselves? These questions have begun circulating not only in the media but also among players themselves, who now face a mirror reflecting their actions, or lack thereof, in critical moments. Meanwhile, Sinner remains focused on his career. Although disappointed, he showed no resentment. With admirable maturity, he stated, "Everything will be fine, it will pass slowly." His positive outlook shows that despite the wounds, he is moving forward. More than a complaint, his statements were an invitation to reflect, a call for empathy in a sport where competition often outweighs companionship. This moment marks a before and after in his relationship with the circuit. He is no longer just the rising young star climbing the rankings, he is now also a voice willing to speak about what many remain silent on. With his courage, Sinner has opened a new chapter not only in his career but in the broader conversation about emotional health and human relationships in professional sports. The silence of some colleagues during his suspension left a mark on Sinner, but also exposed a reality shared by many athletes: the emotional vulnerability behind the facade of strength. In a sport as individual as tennis, where each player travels with their own team, it is easy to fall into a bubble of competition and forgetfulness. Sinner's statements are a wake-up call that could change how tennis players support each other during tough times. The public reaction has been almost unanimously supportive of Sinner. On social media, fans and analysts have praised his honesty and willingness to speak openly about a taboo subject in high-performance sports. Many consider it an act of bravery, as few athletes dare to expose their emotions so clearly. The fact that he didn't mention names was also seen as a classy move, focused on the message rather than direct confrontation. On the other hand, the tennis community now faces an uncomfortable question: how strong is the camaraderie on the circuit? What Sinner experienced is not an isolated case, and his testimony could inspire other players to share similar stories. In a world where prestige and competition dominate, emotional support is often neglected. But stories like this could slowly change that dynamic. Beyond his words, Sinner's attitude has been key. Far from portraying himself as a victim, he has chosen to move forward with optimism. His presence at the Italian Open represents not only his physical return but also his mental strength. He is determined to show that neither the suspension nor the silence of his peers will stop him. More than ever, he seems clear about his purpose and his place in the tennis world. Many players, after hearing his statements, have started to reflect. Some have even shown public support through messages and posts, trying to make up for their previous silence. This shows that Sinner's words have had a real impact within the circuit, starting a dialogue that didn't exist before. Perhaps his testimony is the beginning of a cultural change within the sport. Can a series of last-minute withdrawals change the course of a major tournament like the Rome Masters 1000? Carlos Alcaraz is ready to return to action after missing Madrid, but the tournament's organization has been shaken by 3 unexpected withdrawals that have completely altered the draw. The Mercian, who will debut directly in the second round, may face an unexpected opponent, adding more uncertainty to his path in Rome. Join us to discover how these changes could affect Alcaraz's performance and that of the other Spanish players at the tournament. Carlos Alcaraz will reappear this Friday at the Rome Masters 1000 after being forced to miss Madrid due to injury. The Mercian, a seeded player, will enter directly in the second round, where he was originally set to face the winner of the match between Yoshihito Nishioka and Jan-Lennard Struff. However, the German has withdrawn at the last minute, which has forced a restructuring of the draw. Struff's withdrawal was not the only one, as Belgian Zizou Bergs and Frenchman Benjamin Bonsi also pulled out, leading to the entry of 3 lucky losers into the main draw. This means that Nishioka, if he wins, will face one of these unexpected players before facing Alcaraz, who still does not know his definitive opponent. Among the names vying to fill one of those vacancies is Pablo Carreño. The Asturian lost in the final qualifying round to Roman Buruchaga, but as the 8th seed and since there were not 3 players with a higher ranking than him eliminated, he could be brought back. If successful, he would have another chance to compete in the main draw. The situation has also benefited Valencia's Carlos Taberner, who will play in a Masters 1000 main draw for the first time since 2021. His entry was made possible by the withdrawal of Jamie Faria after losing 6-0 in the first set. Taberner, the recent champion of the Murcia Challenger, arrives in good form and could surprise if he maintains his level. Spain will have a strong presence in Rome, beyond Alcaraz. Alejandro Davidovich, Roberto Bautista, Pedro Martinez, Roberto Carbiez, and Jaume Munar are also in the main draw. This makes the tournament a key opportunity for Spanish players looking to bounce back from the disappointment in Madrid, where for the first time in 23 editions, there were no Spaniards in the round of 16. Alcaraz approaches this event with ambition but also caution. Questions about his physical condition after the injury remain, and the instability in the draw only increases the uncertainty. Even so, the Mercian has shown he can adapt quickly and compete at the highest level even under unpredictable circumstances. The 3 last-minute withdrawals at the Rome Masters 1000 have disrupted established plans and reshaped a tournament that promises strong emotions. Carlos Alcaraz returns eager to show he's recovered, but with a path full of unknowns. The possibility of facing unexpected opponents adds an extra dose of excitement. Additionally, with players like Carlos Taberner seizing opportunities and a solid group of Spanish representatives, Rome becomes an ideal platform to showcase national talent. Alcaraz, as the leading figure, will head this offensive in a tournament starting with more uncertainty than usual. Carlos Alcaraz eyes one of the missing titles in his career in Rome. At just 22 years old, Alcaraz has already won several of the circuit's most prestigious titles, but there are still a few he has yet to conquer. One of them is the Rome Masters 1000, in which he has only participated in 2 editions and has not yet claimed victory. That's why he heads to Rome with this new goal in mind, although he knows that the main objective is to get in top shape for Roland Garros, especially after his injury. Moreover, his road to the title will not be easy,